Hello and welcome to the first episode of this series where I am going to talk about how to crack an online coding teacher interview. My name is Abhay. I am head of teacher experience at Bright School. In the last 3 years, I have interviewed and trained thousands of teachers, and this is the time I decided to pass on my knowledge to prospective candidates like you who want to make a career in this field. The major organizations in this category are campk12, whitehatjr, Bright School, Vedantu, Stay Curious, and there are many more. Now, let's talk about what are the benefits for you if you join one of these organizations. So, when you teach on one of these platforms, you do not need to go anywhere physically. You can teach from the comfort of your homes. You can teach for any number of hours as you like to do. The second and the very important benefit of being part of such an organization is that you will be having a hands-on teaching experience and you will get world-class training from the people who are part of the organization. So that's a very good deal for you if you have some coding experience and you want to teach on these platforms. In this video, we are going to cover 3 aspects. 1. What is the hiring process for these organizations? Second, what do these organizations look for when they hire you as a teacher? And third, and the most important is, what are the most common mistakes that candidates make? The first thing which we are going to talk about is the hiring process of these organizations. Now, most of the organizations which I named earlier have a very common hiring process. Some of the things differ, but then the most common thing is the organization will give you a lesson plan, which is a detailed lesson plan. A detailed lesson plan is one in which you have the entire detail of how you have to deliver a lesson. It has the entire flow, it has the entire activities, and all the guidelines which you need as a teacher. You just need to deliver that lesson. Once you have cleared the first round of the interview, the second round or third round of the interview can differ from organization to organization. Generally, they will send you for a quick training which can range from 2 hours to 10 hours, and after the training, they will call you for a final demo, and then based on that final demo, you are selected or you are rejected. And if you watch this video to the end, your chances of selection, of course, are going to increase. The second section which we are talking about is what are the skills which these organizations look for. Before I go ahead with that, let's understand how are your skills evaluated by these organizations. Most of the organizations use a rubric to evaluate your performance. Now, what's a rubric? A rubric is a document which has a lot of parameters of evaluation. For every parameter, there is a score given to you, and based on the total score, the organization decides whether you are a good fit for them or not. These rubrics are for internal review, and the organizations will not share these rubrics with you. In the future videos, when I am going to talk about specific organizations, I will share the rubric with you which they use to evaluate your performance. But for this video, I will give you a general overview of what those rubric elements are. Let's talk about the basic parameters. As this is a coding teacher interview, the first and most important skill for them is your coding proficiency. Right? Now, when we talk about coding, we need to see how good are you at creating a small code. Are you able to make some changes if required? Are you able to debug in case there is an error in your code? These are basic things which are needed in a coder. Apart from this, the organizations are not looking for you as an expert in any of these languages. You can know any coding language and that's good enough for these organizations. The most important thing is that your logic is strong. The second parameter is your classroom delivery. This is an online class. And there is a student right in front of you on the screen, not physically. And it is very important that you deliver your class very well. Your language should be good, your body language should be good. The child should enjoy that 1 hour while the child is with you. They should not feel like this is a burden on them. All these are very important. If I talk about some more things in classroom delivery, you should be smiling throughout the class, you should be energetic. A lot of energy is required for an online class, and you should be a very good listener when you are delivering the class. Apart from this basic soft skills, you also need to be someone who is able to pace the class very well. You have a full lesson and you have 45 minutes to 1 hour to finish that lesson. It's very important that you pace your class in a proper way so that you can finish in time. And the third important is your teaching style. When you teach a student, the amount of learning the student will get is proportionate to how you teach. What is your methodology when you teach? The teaching style which we follow at Bright School is, we want you to be a facilitator, not a teacher. Now, if this is confusing to you, I'm going to talk a little bit about what a facilitator does differently than a teacher. A facilitator is an active listener who first understands how much does a student know about the topic and then enhances the learning rather than just telling what the teacher knows. Your teaching style should also be interactive so that the student is totally in connection with you and totally in sync with you. So, these are the basic skills which these organizations need in you if you want to be a teacher on their platform. As I said, in the future videos, I will share specific rubric of these organizations so that you are able to understand how can you crack on different parameters and how can you deliver your best. Let's talk about the third big thing which we are going to talk about in today's episode. We are going to talk about what are the most common mistakes which the candidates make, and just by avoiding those things, you can prepare very well and you can clear these interviews very easily. Number one mistake, not giving attention to the teaching philosophy of the organization. Understand that every organization has a teaching philosophy. Just like I told you, we believe in facilitation rather than teaching. Every organization will have some principles when they want to teach. It is very important for you to go through every document the organization has sent you, and also try to go through one of the videos on YouTube where you can see how their teachers are teaching on the platform, so that you understand their teaching philosophy in a better way. When you understand their teaching philosophy, you will be able to understand whether you are the right person for this organization, whether your own teaching philosophy, whether your own standards match with the organization's standards. It is very important to understand these things. The second common mistake which the candidates make, they do not practice the activities which are mentioned in the lesson plan. Now, the lesson plan which has been sent to you has some practical activities which you need to do with the kids. It is very important that you practice all those activities yourself. Your activities as well as the student activities, so that there are no mistakes during the interview. Third most common mistake is no mock delivery before the interview. Now, a lot of candidates appear for the interview and that is the first time they are delivering this lesson. They feel that there's a lot of pressure now and they don't know how to deliver, how will they deliver in time. For this, you should always have 1 to 2 mock preparation sessions for yourself. Take a person who is sitting online or someone who is in front of you, or if there's no one else, go in front of the mirror and deliver the lesson. Do this 2-3 times and you will realize how can you finish the whole lesson in time and also deliver everything which you want to deliver. The fourth point is, do not wait if you have any doubts. I have seen that many candidates don't ask any doubt to the interviewer till the last day. And when they are in front of the interviewer, they have many questions about the whole lesson or about the delivery. All those things need to be answered before the interview. You cannot start asking questions at the time of the interview. The fifth and the last common mistake is, you ask at the time of the interview can I give this interview in my local language than English? No, this is not possible. And this is again a doubt which should have been clarified earlier. Most of these organizations teach not just in one country but in many countries across the world, and English is the common language which they choose as part of their delivery. So prepare your session in English completely, and as I told you, in communication your language and your way of presentation matters a lot. So we have covered all three parameters which we wanted to cover: hiring process, the skills they need, and the common mistakes which candidates make. Now I am just going to summarize everything in a nutshell. When you are going for this interview, you need to understand that coding is an extracurricular subject. It is non-academic. It is for the learning of the student and there is no competition. Students should have fun. The whole purpose of teaching coding is that students can learn while having fun. So if you are able to give that experience, there's no one who can stop you from being a teacher on one of these platforms. Make sure you brush up your coding skills. If you are someone who has done coding in the past but they are not doing it from a long time, there is a possibility that you can make mistakes, you can forget. So go ahead, take some time and brush up your basics so that your logic is strong when you go for the interview. And last and the most important thing, you need to have a passion for teaching. You cannot be someone who is there just to earn. You need to understand that teaching is a very important job. You are responsible for a student's learning and for their whole life. That's all which I wanted to share in this video. I am sure if you have watched this video until the end, you must have learned something new which will help you during your interview.